What's going on, everybody? You are tuned into the Revelers Rule podcast. I'm your host, Kyle, and I am joined here by someone who I've really been getting to know a little bit more and more through social media. We have a mutual connection through the Cigar Clowns, who have also been on the show, and I'm talking about Justin Chaffiot of Chaffiot Collection Cigars. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, my man. Doing good. Thank you for having me on. It's great.
No problem. I'm happy to have you. So I apologize if the connection gets a little bit shoddy. My internet is due for an upgrade. So,
Mine too.
So there may be some listeners who aren't familiar with you. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your company, and what it's all about?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So Chaffiot Collection Cigars was started around 2017, 2018. Oh, here's my wife now. At least the idea did. Sorry. Hold on a second. I was going to.
No, hello, welcome. And now we're joined by Crystal Chaffiot. How are you?
I'm good. Just coming back from hockey practice. Not for myself, but my son. So
no, yeah, I was just read in by your husband. So glad you could join us as well. But welcome to the Revelers Rule podcast.
Thanks for having us.
But
heck yeah,
no, absolutely. So Justin was just telling me a little bit
again, and then act
more
like
about Chaffiot and what you guys are all about. And it's possible I just lost you.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, we're frozen.
Are we frozen?
We're frozen.
Oh, gotta love the internet. Gotta love technology. You guys still with me? Oh, there you are. There you are.
I know, right? There we are.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, this software that I use is so much better than what I was using. I was using OBS, and that was a pain in the ass.
It's atrocious.
So, well, just because I had to use it I had to use like Zoom or WhatsApp just to get video, and then I had to connect it to that, and then hit record, and then I have audio problems, and I'm somewhat of a perfectionist with this kind of stuff, so this here has just made my life so much easier. So, but no, Justin was telling me a little bit about what you guys are all about, what Chaffiot Collection is about, and he was telling me a little bit about when you guys got started.
Yeah, we didn't get off the ground. So we started in 2000. Well, the idea came about in 2017, 2018. And we really didn't get off the ground until like mid to late 2019 with like doing events locally. You know, we established a good online or a fair online presence at that point, selling online.
And the reason for that is because we started the company about 2 months after I found out I was pregnant. So that was really great timing.
Idea, fellas.
So yeah, so it's like, yeah, honey.
Don't be that guy. Don't be me, please.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm growing a baby. He's growing a dream of having a cigar business, and
not the.
Well, I mean, at least it wasn't a pandemic baby, right?
Yeah. Well, he was 18, so
2018.
Yeah. Middle of 18, and then we did have a pandemic baby at 21. So there were several major life happening while
this thing is forming, So, but it was it was interesting because I had a local cigar lounge that was literally in walking distance from my house, and I would go there all the time, and the owner, I started at the time, I really didn't know anything about craft cigar culture or boutiques or anything like that. I just knew about the legacy stuff, and the owner of the lounge really introduced me to a lot of the boutique brands right at the time. And so I fell in love with all of that. And around the same time, this was 2017, early 2017, we had gone to a local anti-trafficking event. Like, as I'm really diving into, the boutique cigar craft world. And we heard the testimony of a survivor.
Overcomer.
Overcomer. Who was trafficked by her biological father from age 3 to 16 years old. And she gave the testimony, and it's like one thing like hearing, I mean, regardless of where you hear that type of story, if it's real, obviously it's terrible, but it's like one thing when you see the person like who actually went through it, and you're meeting them, and there's just a bigger impact there. So we left and we were really convicted and heartbroken, and like, what do we do? Like, I can't believe how common this is. And this was before like all like the Epstein stuff was in the media, and like before trafficking was getting talked about all the time. You know what I mean? Like, we were like, wow.
Because when we went there, we had the impression, I mean, you just didn't ever think that was something that happened. I don't know. Everybody had the the movie, what was it called with Liam?
Taken.
The Taken movie. Everybody thought it was like Taken. And then we heard that. It was like, what? And she went to school every day, and she went to church and got good grades and was trafficked at
it was
night.
Crazy.
Like, her gym teacher, when she went to middle school, she walked in, her gym teacher had bought her. Like, stuff like that where you're like, oh my gosh, my mind is fractured. And
it's crazy.
Wow.
Terrible,
That's
horrible,
insane.
detestable, crazy. But anyway, so we left and we're like, man, we should do something about this. Well, again, at the time, I'm really diving into cigars, and like, I'm experiencing brands like, and again, they obviously weren't as big as they are now, but like, the Room 101s and the Espinosas and the Christophs and the Ortegas and like all these different brands. So I was like, I love this culture and I hate human trafficking. Maybe we can combine the two together somehow. And then, of course, the idea, okay, yeah, let's just start like a cigar brand. Let's start a cigar company that raises awareness and funds for this cause, for this mission. So the love for, premium boutique cigars and, the urge to do something about trafficking kind of happened at the same time. So,
and we realized, men are primarily the buyers. And when you have the ability to smoke cigars, you are able to have conversations with people in an organic way. And so we thought, that is the perfect setup, because, we want to get the messaging out. We want to encourage people, but also empower them to make a difference. And so we're able to have conversations that are real and make people aware, and then also give them some tools and ways that they can get involved to help the fight. And
sure.
Do it while smoking a great cigar. So it just seemed like the perfect thing.
That's a marriage that honestly that I don't think that I've heard of, like, well, within the cigar industry anyways, because there's cigar brands that do like charity work and stuff like that. They try to raise money for different causes, but you guys are literally the first, and so far as I know, only cigar brand that does what you do. And I actually got introduced to you guys back in 2019 when you guys were first rolling stuff out. My friend, who I'm pretty sure you know her as well. My friend Paula Chicks and Sticks. She's she's a good friend of mine. I've known her for several years. And
no way, dude, that's awesome. I hope she's doing well, man. Like, we really connected, us three in the beginning. And she was, and God bless her. I hope she's doing well. But yeah, she's awesome, man. Like, she was supporting us so hard, and we really felt that. And I felt a lot of encouragement coming from her. So she's great. I have nothing but good things to say about her. She's awesome.
Oh yeah, she's a fantastic person. She's working at a lounge in Long Beach, California.
Really?
And so we still talk every here and there. Last time I saw her was late last year. I popped by and said hello and stuff, and she's doing all right. And she actually, like, going back to when I first got introduced to you guys, she sent me out, because I think the original stuff you put out was the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, right? Those were the first ones you rolled out. And I can't remember which of those she sent me, because I can't remember. I think she only sent me one, maybe two of them. But that was something. When I found out about what you guys were all about, I thought that's incredible. And over time, because you know how it is via social media, they don't always show you the stuff that you want to actually see on your feed because of stupid algorithms and all of that.
Right.
But I got lucky in that Smoking Cigars, they agreed to collaborate with me, and they send me a Cigar of the Month, but Cigar of the Month Club box every month. And it was through that I tried the Goldie Grace for the first time, and then the Clowns.
That's great.
Ray from the Clowns hit me up. He was on my podcast last year, and him and Joe were just recently on. And so we were talking about how you guys, they refer to it as a marriage. You guys got married, essentially, in terms of
pretty much
brand partnership and all of that kind of stuff. But no, they're really great guys. I love them to death. They've been really supportive and really awesome in terms of, you know, supporting what I do, and I'm more than happy to support you guys and them. And it's just it's a blessing. It's a huge blessing to be able to connect with something like that and whatnot.
sure.
But you guys kind of have a similar, in terms of falling in love with like craft and boutique cigars, similar story around the same time too, because it was 2018, which was one of the most roller coaster years of my entire life. Because this is what happened in this order. We bought our first house, closed escrow literally a day after New Year's, and then mid-February, our nephew, who was 21 at the time, passed away.
Oh, man.
And then 11 days later, my youngest was born. So
wow.
all within the first 2 months of that year, all of that happened. And so
that's a lot.
one of the things that I really turned to for comfort was cigars.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it was rolling up around like summertime, July, which actually July 13th was when I first started doing any kind of cigar social media, because it was 2 days after my oldest birthday. And I used to do it with a buddy of mine. I don't know if you're familiar with a guy by the name of Tim Long, Cigar Show Tim. He does cigar media as well.
Cigar Show Tim. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
He's one of my oldest friends. I've known him for over 20 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
okay.
Initially, we did it together as dad smoking cigars. So when I found out about Chaffiot,
I remember about that. I remember about smoking cigars. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Nice to know I made an impression.
Yeah. No, I thought it was cool.
He was like, I'm a dad now too, smoking cigars, because we were, having a baby around the same time.
That was like right when we got on social. I think you guys were one of like the first accounts I started following. Like, seriously.
Yeah. But no, it's just like, that was the reason why I started calling it dad smoking cigars, because my dad got me into cigars. I was a dad. Right. Tim also was a dad. And so it was just like a no-brainer. But after him and I kind of, during the pandemic, we amicably parted ways in terms of cigar media and stuff. I think I held on to it for like another 3 years, and that was it. I was like, you know what? I felt like I was getting pigeonholed. I can't completely. I am a dad, yes, but it's not all of who I am. And so I rebranded in 2023 as Smoking Revelry, and then started this podcast 2 years after that. So, but in 2018,
you have to evolve, you know.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So it's been a hell of a journey, and it's been really fun, and I'm glad it's continuing, because I've been doing this for almost 8 years. So
you're like in the same boat.
Crazy.
I feel like we got started roughly around the same time.
We have kids around the same age.
All that
we
stuff.
we got a lot of similarities there.
Yes. I was telling Justin that I have an almost 13-year-old coming up on July. So that's going to be an interesting. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting chapter.
I am going to cry. And I keep looking at all these 13-year-olds that look like they're 18 and going, oh, dear God, this is right around the corner. Like, this is like, it's wild. They're huge, and it's wild.
Well, that's the thing too, because my oldest is, like I said, he's going to be 13 in July, and he's as tall as his mom, which is 5'5", and I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
And I stopped growing when I was a freshman in high school. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he overshoots me, because I overshot my dad, not by much, but I overshot my dad in terms of height.
6'1" in ninth grade is like, that's pretty big.
I sprouted like 2 inches taller during the summer in between 8th grade and 9th grade. So
I gotta start measuring in the summer too, because I feel like that it's like you wake up and you feel like they're taller, but I gotta measure this. I gotta see what's going on.
I know.
Yeah. But no, that year, 2018, I was literally introduced to my very first boutique cigars, because Tim and I had, we were connecting to the community every which way that we could. And that's how we got introduced to a guy by the name of Brandon, whose handle is Cigar Mechanic. He's a broker based out of Arizona, and he's
Right.
works with Casa Cuevas. I think he still works with Espinosa.
Okay.
He did work with AJ Fernandez for a while. But yeah, you know, he's still good friends with like Jack Tarano and all of that. And
Sure.
but yeah, no, that kind of just blew up my world in terms of cigars, because prior to that, if I'm being 100% honest, I didn't pay any attention to what cigars tasted like or what was in them. I didn't pay any attention to that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, same. I have a very similar story. I mean, I have to, again, I have to give credit to that local lounge owner, because I don't know, he really took the time, you know, and, you know, maybe not take me under his wing, but he definitely took the time and letting me explore, and then being patient with me. You know what I mean? He was like, okay, like, let me explain what's going on here. You know, like, let me take you
Yeah.
through wrapper, binder, filler. You know, what separates boutique away from legacy, like explaining all those things to me. And
That's rare to
that was
have
a cool
a
thing,
lounge owner do that. I mean,
you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. See, you know, I didn't have a lounge. I mean, the lounge that was nearby my house, which sadly isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Um, they didn't carry a lot of that. They carried a lot of the legacy stuff.
Mhm.
And the thing about I found, and this isn't true for everyone who's strictly like into legacy brands or heritage brands, however they're referred to,
Right.
is that every few people who only smoke heritage brands tend to be a little bit on the snobby side, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
And they do that whole like, well, I only smoke this brand. And my question is always, why?
Yeah.
Why only one
Agreed.
brand? Why limit yourself to just one brand? And again, this is how I found out about Chaffiot, you know, having a friend who was also very much into finding hidden gems and, you know, different brands. I'm always on the lookout for a new cigar brand. I'm always on the lookout for a brand that maybe is either just getting started or has only been around for a little bit, you
Right.
know, and it's mostly what I smoke. I don't think I have, other than maybe Rocky Patel, I don't think I have a single big name brand in my humidor, or at least not many of them. You know, I
yeah.
get one every now and then delivered to me, but
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
same. If I have one, probably someone gave it to me for free. Like, yeah.
Do you think
It's
that people that smoke the legacies and don't want to try anything else, it's because it seems to be a status thing, and or because they are know-it-alls and think they know everything and they don't want to hear and learn about other brands, you know? Because like, what is it?
it's
Why?
it's funny you mentioned that, because like I think I was scrolling through some of my old stuff on TikTok that I posted forever ago, and I posted a couple of things like etiquette on being in a cigar lounge, and it's how not to behave in a cigar lounge. And one of the things I said was, unless somebody asks, no one cares about how much you know about cigars. Nobody cares. It's not something that people, unless they ask, if they want to know, by all
Yeah.
means, like tell them how you know about this leaf that grows in or this you know,
Right.
this
Yeah.
particular
Right.
type of like, and it's like, don't try to inject yourself into a conversation talking about how much you know, because one, it comes off as just being a snob, and a little bit too, like you said, it's a status thing, and it just you come off as a dick. Let's just be
You
honest.
do.
That's how you come off when
I agree.
you behave like that. But yeah, I think there is an element of that, just because for whatever reason, you know,
Like on price
and I'm
point, it's like, oh, I bought an expensive cigar. And I'm like, well, you're not always buying the best tasting cigar, you
that's
know?
kind of what you literally read my mind, because
Did
I'm
I?
thinking,
Oh, I knew it.
if I'm being honest, like some of the bigger brands, here's just a disclaimer: you'll never hear me slam a brand ever, never, just because
No, yeah.
if it's
Sure.
something somebody enjoys, or maybe it's something somebody was thinking of trying, and then they hear me talk crap about it, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm not going to smoke that." I always feel a little guilty about that if I ever do it.
Yeah.
So, but some of the older brands, because they're so popular and they're cranking them out like they're going out of style,
Exactly.
as opposed to a smaller brand that, you know, they have their cigars made at, the same factory, maybe 5 or 6 other brands are being made at, but the people who are blending them can take a little bit more time. They can allow it to be more of a labor of love as opposed to just we're trying to make money here,
Right.
and
Correct.
anyone who I've ever known that and I think, me and the guys from Cigar Clowns talked about this, like, it's expensive. You're not getting rich. You are,
Oh no,
No.
that's for
you have a
sure.
business. Yeah, you have a business, yes, and obviously there is a bottom line. You have to have some kind of return, but at the same time, if you're a boutique brand owner, you're not getting rich. In fact, most of your return is being spent on more production and more
I was gonna
promotion.
say we're hoping for that return sometime, somewhere, but like, yeah, you're reinvesting it. You're constantly
Mhm.
reinvesting.
That ROI is 10 plus years, I mean,
Yeah.
You're
10
not
plus
in it.
years.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
That's
Yeah,
why,
It's a
you're
really
anybody
finding.
can
long-term game.
slap a label on a cigar, that they'll give you some off the shelf and let you slap it on there. But I mean, we knew with
Mhm.
what our cigars, the cigars had to be really freaking good, because otherwise we're just a mission led company that's trying to do cigars. And then people are going to buy them once and they're going to be like, oh, well, good luck with the mission, but that's not what we're trying to do. I mean,
That's
nobody
like,
wants to listen to us if we have shitty cigars. Like,
yeah,
why do you want to,
Yeah.
why do you hear what we have to say if we're just
no one
throwing
cares how
crap?
noble your mission is. No one cares how great your mission is if your product sucks. Like, that's just the reality, so
Well, it's kind of
it
it's
takes
it's it's a
time.
two-sided coin, because like if you're gonna do something, work towards a cause that is incredibly worthwhile, incredibly noble, to help raise awareness and fund efforts to stop human trafficking, or all of that, um, the same kind of passion has to go into your product.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
exactly.
Well
it is
said.
Yeah.
going to
Couldn't have
fall.
said it any
Is going to
better.
fall. Yeah, it's gonna fall flat. And one thing that I do love about the cigar community overall is the passion that goes into the product, especially from the smaller brands. Not to say that brands like Arturo Fuente and other legacy brands that have been around for like over 100 years. Um, it's not like
Yeah.
they don't pour passion into it, but they have a massive catalog and
Mhm.
so many
Right.
cigars and a quota they have to fill on a regular basis. And because they're so popular worldwide, there's an excessive demand on that. And so you've got cigars getting cranked out like crazy. And I think that there is like a special amount of attention for some of their more, um, luxury,
Mhm.
Sure.
names in their brand. Cause I've
Sure.
tried, I've tried some of the regular everyday, cigars that those brands produce, and they're just okay.
Mhm.
Whereas if you get a chance to try something like an Opus X, which I have thankfully had the chance to try a couple of them, they definitely overshoot the lower shelf stuff. So,
Right. Right.
there's still plenty of passion, but because of the demand, there's not as much attention or love going into each individual SKU that you're putting out there.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree.
I
And
mean, and I think the passion just even from the cigar community is so evident. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. When we first got started, I was like, people are like ride or die. Like, people that are like in it are in it. I mean, it just blew my
Oh
mind.
yeah.
And so that just gave me more fire, because I'm like, look, if we can ignite the same passion that people have for cigars and light a fire under their ass to like get involved or to help fight human trafficking, the
Yeah.
sky's the limit. Like, we can put a dent in this thing,
you could.
because these are some passionate, dedicated folks, and we just need a little bit of that spark and we can light it on fire. So
Yeah.
that was encouraging to me when we got started, because I was like, okay,
Yeah. Let's take the same obsession and
yeah,
apply it to the mission.
just take a little bit
But
of it.
we want them to be obsessed with our product, of
Right?
course.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Well,
like, we
yeah, but
want that to happen.
I
But
am.
it's
I definitely am. I
yeah,
love what you
when you're
guys have
smoking a
made.
cigar, you
we
can do
appreciate it.
something, or you can read something, or you can learn something, or you know what I mean. Like, there's so much opportunity, because you have that time that you're sitting and being still, unless you're smoking a yard gar. But you got that, you got the ability to just
Yeah.
kind of marinate even on information or whatever it is. So I don't know. I was like, listen,
But with the Freedom Fighter, like, for example, we're both smoking it. I mean, we consider this kind of our flagship line, the Freedom
Yeah.
Fighter. For sure. And that's, we spent over a year working on this cigar, just one blend. We were going through
Yeah.
sample after sample after sample, and we finally got it down. And it wasn't even this one. We did a Lancero after all of that.
Which is still one of my favorites.
Which,
I feel like we need to bring that back for a limited.
Well, Lanceros are great. In my opinion, like with, with the blending experience I've had, like Lancero, starting out with a Lancero as a baseline, I think is great for any blend that you want to do. You're going to get that full wrapper experience, and oh my God, like what better baseline do you want? And it's like, well, if you add filler to it, it's either going to enhance it, or if you add filler to it, it's going to, reduct from it. So you just got to figure that out. But anyway,
absolutely.
we are very passionate about what we do. And again, there's a lot of people that would love to have just taken a blend off a shelf and put a cool label on it and have a cool mission attached to it. But that's not who we are, not what we do,
I think that sort of thing, like you said, pulling up, like, just say somebody who is curious about making cigars and maybe even wants to start their own brand. I think there's a place for that, where if you haven't the first clue about how to blend a cigar and you're going on the recommendations of a blender or a factory, that can be kind of a fun thing where you're like, well, what about this one? What tell me about this one. And then you find out you love it. It's like, could I possibly use it for my company? And you make a deal, you make an agreement, and they agree to produce it for you. And that can be cool. But like you said, when it's got something as important as a mission attached to it, you can't do that. You can't do that at all. But
and we were really fortunate that who we work with allows us to do that, because at the time that we were, formulating the blends for these, we weren't ordering big quantities. So for him to even entertain us and not be like, listen, you get like 1 revision, 2 revisions, like that's it. I mean, he is very generous, very, very generous. And he's taught us a lot. I mean,
he's taught us a lot
amount of things, but he's like incredible to work with. And that's, his quality's always on point. His ability to allow us to be creative.
Crystal's right. The quantities we were ordering were embarrassingly low. Right. And he was still patient with us and like went through the process with us. And it's like, that's rare to find that kind of guy, in my opinion, in the industry, like
I agree.
He believed in us from the start, and he still does, So
and he's a master craftsman. He's a master craftsman on his product. So even that, it's like, you could probably find somebody that might let you do that, but is their quality good? Have they stood the test of time? All of that we just, and he still, was cheering us on and believing in us. And there was times that Justin's like, I can understand if you don't like want to work with us, because I just know we're not like ordering enough. And
I was
like,
pulling that card all the time.
And I said, look at me and tell me right now, are you going to quit on us? He's like, I believe in you. Keep going. And we're like, see, okay, go, let's go.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, kind of going back to what you were saying, like how the passion for cigars kind of lights a fire under your ass and things like that. And just similarly with what I've been doing, because like you can't really see a lot of it around me. This is a studio I built in my garage. And the reason why I built it was not just because of cigars. Cigars was kind of like the catalyst for it, but I'm also a voice actor. Like to my left, there's a little area where, it's soundproofed and things like that. But it's also a place where I can shoot my content and not have to like worry about the weather as much, because, my patio is nice, but even in Southern California, some days it either gets like blistering hot, even at night.
Very rare. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure.
Now, great. Now, just so you know, our garage, he's going to be on me to freaking get our studio set up, because he's already been like, if you just got rid of some stuff, we could have a studio.
I've talked about that a few times.
Thank you. Now there'll be a fire under my ass for that.
Well, what's funny too is that like my wife hates cigars. Just absolutely hates them.
Oh, dude.
She does not
like them.
I tell him
all the time he's the luckiest guy on this earth, because I've not only spoke with you, but
it's like you are.
she puts
her angry
up
side
with you
though,
too.
so I don't know.
They all have an angry side, and we'd all rather not see it. So you're not that's not unusual. So that's why we try not to bring it out. But
I just said, I'm gonna have another drink.
Yeah. No, what's funny is she was the one who really I I was not banking on it becoming well, I was not banking on it materializing for a long time. And then in like 2020, she's like, okay, you need to have your own space. And I'm like, well, I agree, but how are we going to do that? And so, you know, came up with a budget, which of course continued to balloon over time. And it got, you know, what we thought we were going to spend, we ended up spending even more. And there was one more thing I had to buy, one more thing I had to do. And so, you know, it was
That's how
just,
it goes, man.
it's always how it goes. It's
Yeah.
always how it goes. But, you know, almost 6 years later, because I literally built this tail end of 2020, like, or started construction.
Oh, the pandemic project too.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like so many other people, was just like, how many cigar brands popped up during 2020?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I'm still there's some that I'm still very connected with, like, you know, brands like Apostate and whatnot, because they all got started during that time as well. Brandon and Kendrick have been real good to me as well. So I actually just talked to them yesterday on a herf they were doing with the Distinguished Ruffians. I don't know which chapter, but they were. I decided to jump on and crash the party, and so they were.
Hell yeah!
It was really nice getting to talk to them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, it was just it was a pandemic project, pure and simple. And I was just like, I didn't think it was going to happen, and then I was lucky enough to, you know, be able to have my own space, and it started so bare bones, but now it's my man cave, it's my workspace, it's my lounge, it's my recording studio. It's so many things rolled into one, and I'm very, very grateful that my wife just decided, okay, you know what, we're just gonna do this, because you recording on the patio, me having to like stare at you while you're out there while I'm trying to watch TV and stuff like that. It just it's weird. And even when
you can have the garage, I'll put you in the garage. Go ahead.
She's like, take the garage. She's like, as long as I can still park in there, I'm fine, you know? So it takes up about half the garage.
Well, sounds like it's good space.
That's great though, man. It's like your sacred space, man. It's your haven, you know?
Oh yeah. The nice thing is, like, I mean, depending on if the kids are home, they might barge in and stuff like that, but the wife will not come anywhere near here if she knows I'm smoking. So it's definitely my space.
That's your stay away signal.
Yep. Fun. Well, the drawback I will say is that, and you find this out when you're constructing stuff, especially like depending on the foundation of the house, the angle your house sits, which keep this in mind if and when you actually build your studio, because the door still does not close all the way. I have to like wedge it into the frame in order to, and there's still like a little bit of space between the door and the frame. And even with my exhaust fan pulling smoke out, it still gets into the garage, and my wife will like walk into a wall. She'll be like walking in. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can here. She's like, we need to fix that. And we've been saying that for years. And so I'm like, I'm trying. I tried to shave the door down a little bit, didn't work. And so now I'm having to. Yeah, but that costs money.
Well, you got to find a good one. We got a good one that's really affordable and really fast, and it's the best money I've ever spent.
I do some things with my Aunt Kyle, some things. And by some things, I mean I can hammer, you know, a nail on the wall. I can fix a garbage disposal. I learned that on YouTube. Actually, I was very proud of myself for that. Other than that, though, I'm kind of hopeless. So anyway,
well, it's funny you say that, because like I was talking to my buddy Miguel on the first episode of the podcast for this season about how, like, when we first got this house, we had to get used to the idea that people were not going to come fix our stuff. And because we had been living in apartments where they had maintenance people, and all you had to do was call them, and it was included in like your rent and everything like that. So you didn't have to pay for it unless you seriously damage something. But if it was just like run of the mill stuff, they'd come, you know, within the day. Right. And so I had to kind of become a little bit handy. Like, I've fixed stuff with sinks and different leaks and things like that. I've fixed stuff within the house. What's that?
So you gotta force yourself to be, right? I mean,
you are literally forced to be at least somewhat handy. But I would always when my wife would give me a task on
Yeah.
when I happened to be home, and she's like, "Okay, I want you to do this while I'm at work," I would always
Right.
preface it with this. I'm like, "Okay, I will do this, but it's the first time I've done it, and you're
Yeah.
asking me to do something that, you know, isn't, well, it's not major. It's something that I know if it's not done completely right, you're going to be upset. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best, but you cannot be mad at me when you come home and it doesn't quite turn out the way you want it."
Right.
And she's like,
There's that risk
"I'm sure
there,
it'll
you
be
know?
fine." Yeah, she's like, "I'm sure it'll be fine." And then she comes home, she's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "I did what you asked." And she's like, she's like, "Why didn't you think about this, that, or the other?" I said, "Because you didn't say to think about this, that, or the other."
Yeah, dude. It's
Did you
like,
catch
I
any of
told you,
that?
I was not technically qualified to do this, but I gave it my best shot, and you know,
the result was not the one
things
that you
happen.
exactly wanted,
Yeah.
but A for
So,
effort, right?
Yeah. You know,
I
you get it.
didn't get a gold star. So it
You
was,
don't always get a gold star, but you get attaboy or A for effort, and you know, through clenched teeth, and we'll fix that later.
you're not far off. You're not far off. But no, she'd be like, she's like, "I'm sorry. I know you're trying and you did what I asked, so I can't be mad." But she's like, "I said, this is why we need to, like, every now and then shell out a little bit of cash so it can be done right the first time." That was like what my dad did for years. He was never really a handy guy. And so
It's my
his
dad.
philosophy was, especially when he started becoming more successful in his career, he's like, if I have the money, I might as well spend the money to have it done right the first time.
Well, then it's
And
hours of your life you get back from having to try to figure it out, fix it. I mean, you know, what's your time worth? But again, you got to find a
exactly.
affordable guy. I got an Old Salty Sailor who's the best, and he is
Nice.
very affordable. And so
He's great. He
yeah,
shows up half drunk all the time, but he does
he has
well.
a special Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
He goes to his car and drinks his special Kool-Aid, but
He does.
he's Uncle Mitch, and damn it, he's awesome.
we should all be so lucky that we get to drink and do our work, or have somebody who can do their work while they've been drinking, you know?
Yeah.
So, because that's a
man.
rare talent.
He's a survivor. As alcoholic in its finest form. He's doing his thing.
He does well. He does good.
That was my uncle, God rest him. I mean, that guy, he worked every single day of his life until his cancer diagnosis. But, you know, and he get pissed off because he couldn't work. He had to take it easy after treatments and stuff like that. And he's like, "God damn it." And he's like, I'm just holed up at home. And it's like, "Yeah, you're trying to recover from cancer treatment, Uncle Dave."
Trying to
and
live.
Like,
come on.
Yeah. So, but you know, it's he was one of those guys for a long time. He could do that, and he did it while having a few drinks, and until he was told you can't drink anymore. Because it was getting in the way of his health. But it was that I actually have a pretty good mechanic that I can actually rely on, which is also rare. And anytime I go to get something taken care of, they don't try to sell me on anything. They just say, "Well, check it out and see what the problem is, and we'll let you know what the cost is." And it's never been, even when it was expensive, I didn't feel like I was getting shafted in any way. So it's nice when you can find someone who's not interested in doing that to you. They actually just want to help you and give you what you need, as opposed to trying to make an extra buck or two. So, but, well, I guess one of the other things I was thinking about is are you guys developing anything right now? Is there anything on the horizon for Chaffiot that may be unveiled in the next year or two?
As far as new cigars go? Is that what you're referring to? Well, it's like, duh, obviously. Like, what else will we be producing, I guess?
Hey, you never know. You never know.
You know what, man? We're always thinking of ideas. We're always thinking of new concepts that we would love to put out to market. But I think right now what we want to do. So we had done a really cool project with OGT, with Eric from OGT Society. It was our first limited it was really our first limited releases that we did. It was called the Rare Breeds. And we only did the cigar once. But they were an absolute hit. OGT, all their people gave us a lot of positive feedback for those cigars. And the reality is they're great cigars, man. We have
you guys spent a lot of time on that to be limited, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the process and all of it, the branding, everything, it was
really cool. Eric's brother did the artwork on the labels, and Eric and I and Crystal, we all pitched in on the blending together. So it was a really, really fun process. And but yeah, the thing about limiteds are all the time and all the work that goes into them, and especially if the cigar turns out to be a great cigar, it sucks that it's limited. You know what I mean? It sucks that it's going away. So we're that would be probably our next thing, is to look at bringing those back. Because I think they deserve to be smoked. They should be smoked. More people need to try them. It's a great experience. So. Yeah, we did what do we do? We did two-tone, which was, I believe, I'm trying to remember now. It was Corojo and San Andreas, and then Corojo and San Andreas blend. It was a barber pole. It was delicious. And then we did Mr. Pinstripe, which was Pennsylvania broadleaf, which was incredible. Definitely probably stronger out of the three. And then we did Bruno the Butcher, which was a 5x56 box press, San Andreas. And they were just so freaking good, man. And yeah, so I would say, the next thing that we do is probably gonna, try to get those back, or bring them back. So,
Goldie was originally going to be a limited release until we were like, that would be asinine to not have this come back. So we changed the sizing on it. But, I know there's also a few in the vault that we had originally that Justin wants to make some tweaks on, and they were really great cigars when we had them. And so I was encouraging him just today, hey, I think we ought to do those tweaks, because we've already got the fundamentals there, and the concepts were all really great. And I think we want to get our line now that we have the partnership and we've got so much more distribution and so much more of a team behind us.
Yeah.
There's so much work. We have so much room to grow that, we want to kind of focus on the core line of the Hear, See, Speak and the Freedom Fighter, make sure that people know us. So when we do bring out another cigar, they're like, oh, we love it. It sells. We're in, and not just try to, be recreating the wheel just to spin the wheels,
Yeah. Well, I'll be part of your street team for real. I love what you guys do.
Well, that is our marketing budget. We pay in cigars.
Sold. But no, it's just like I said, and especially after getting to know Ray and Joe and stuff like that, and finding out, because again, it was kind of just a nice little series of dominoes that fell, getting connected with Smoke In, my first box literally containing the Goldie Grace, and being able to experience, which is a fantastic cigar. I absolutely love that smoke. It's so good. And the band, I'm honestly considering getting the artwork on that band tattooed on me, because it's that cool looking.
You should.
It's just that cool looking. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's a really cool.
It's funny, Ray and I talked about that too at the beginning of this project. Or at the beginning of the project when we did it. We haven't done it yet. I'm sure we probably would.
I still need to get my first tattoo. Because
oh my gosh, you're a virgin.
I am a virgin when it comes to tattoos, because I meant to get one 2 years ago when I turned 40, and even had the money set aside, but I kept going back and forth on what I wanted. And before I knew it, I just kind of once again put it on the back burner. I've decided my first tattoo is going to be on my inner arm, and it's going to be my boys' names in the original language that they were, from. Because my oldest, his name is Theodore. His name's Greek, so I'm going to get his name, which is such a cool looking, how it's spelled in Greek. It looks so cool. And then of course my youngest, his name is Benjamin, which is a Hebrew name.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get his name done in Hebrew, and I just need to. I need to actually go and get it done. I'm not scared of having like a needle on my arm. That's not it. It's just like getting around to it. I also work in a restaurant business, and I'm a dishwasher, and having to protect my arm and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I kind of let
Well,
stuff get in the way in that regard.
he
No, I
got
get
me
it.
a gift card because he has a million tattoos. I only had one stupid one on my toe that I got when I was like a senior in high school, peeled off, the layer skin, like doesn't even count. But he got me a gift card because I said I want to get a tattoo for the kids. So I got this, which I don't know if you can see it, but it's 2
Nice.
arrows and a bow.
Yeah.
And it's for the kids because there's a verse in the Bible that says children are like arrows in the hand of a warrior. So it took
Yep.
me, though, 2 years because I was like, I want to see
Blessed
it.
is he whose quiver is full of them. Yes, I know that one.
Yes.
That's it.
So it took me 2 years, though, and I was like trying to, I was like, I want this to be on my wrist. I want to see it. It's for the kids, and finally did it, and I'm really glad I did. So hopefully that will encourage you to go get it done. But it was a
Yes.
pain to keep it out of the water and not.
Yeah.
Don't do it like in the summer when you're gonna be at the beach or in the pool.
Well, lucky for me, I don't go to the beach much, even though I live in Southern California. So it's just, even though it's
Okay,
like
good. All right.
barely an hour away from where I live, I hardly ever go. I'm one of those Californians that likes going to the beach, but not actually like putting on a swimsuit, going on the sand and all that kind of stuff. I love being in beach towns. So
Yeah.
it's
the
nice to walk a
vibes.
boardwalk. Yeah, just the vibes. I love that. But I completely lost my train of thought of what I was going to say next.
That happens, man. Happens all the time.
Well, especially doing the, oh no, well, what I was going to say is like, if I'm lucky and fingers crossed, I might actually have a job with a cigar company relatively
hell
soon.
yeah.
So,
Nice.
I might not have to worry about whether or not I'm going to, be dipping my
Right.
arm in like a big old sink washing dishes and stuff like that. Which is funny because I literally just renewed my food handler's card because my boss was saying, your food handler's card expired back in February. My boss says you need to get it before, and this was last weekend, you need to get it before your shift today. And I'm like,
Well,
okay.
shit.
So, thankfully you can do anything online. And I literally jumped online, and within 2 hours I had a brand new food handler's card. So,
There you go.
it was
Well,
only,
you just
it was
put
only
the
$30.
Yeah.
the whole arm covering gloves. Worst case, just get the ones that just pull up to your elbows.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to find that really good, like waterproof medical tape, and then like probably just wrap it in like saran wrap or something.
So we have taken all your excuses, and we expect to see your tattoo very soon, is what we're saying.
I will be getting it this year, come hell or high water, just because I've been talking about it for so long, and I need to just friggin' do it and have it, because I've been wanting tattoos since I was pretty young. I just never set aside enough money to actually get it done, which I'm glad, because what I wanted then are tattoos I would not want to have now.
See, yep.
So it was good that I didn't do it.
God knew. He said you gotta muck yourself up with a bunch of stuff, but start with the important things. You don't even know what they are yet, but I know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I'm glad I finally figured out at least the first one, because like I said, I was thinking about it for the longest time, and I kept going back and forth, and I'm like, I don't know what I want. And then I finally figured it out. So, and thankfully it's not a super expensive one. So I should be able to get it done pretty easy, no problem. And I don't have to go back a million times.
There you go.
But yeah, you guys will know when I get it. I promise. I'll shoot you a message, send you a picture, just say, look what I just did.
I'll be looking for
Or
it.
she'll be like, prove it.
Prove it.
Picture it didn't happen, and you need to see her face in the picture too.
Yeah. Prove it.
So
yeah, man, Ray's got a lot of tattoos. Just going back to him for a second. I think he just got one recently on his hand or something.
A rose?
For his grandmother.
I've been told it's addicting. I've been told once you get one, you're going to want another one again and again and again.
It does. I don't know. I got one for her actually back in November last year.
Yep.
On my leg. And at the time, like right when it was like we're at the tail end of it, I was like, I'm never getting a fucking tattoo again. I'm never doing it. Like, I was so over it. I was like, oh, this is terrible. Fuck this, And then about like a month later, I'm like already texting the artist, like, all right, I think I want this thing like on this side of my leg.
Yeah, let me preface. He got a tattoo. He got a tattoo for me. It is a great tattoo. However, it was between that or Herman Munster, and I was like, dude, if we have to if you're trying to decide between a tattoo for me and Herman Munster,
dude, Herman
I
Munster
don't
is
even
awesome.
know where
I
we're
don't care
at.
anybody says Herman Munster is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Period.
I like Herman Munster. I was a
Herman
Munsters fan.
Yeah, Herman Munster's the GOAT. Anyway, you know, yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll all get 3 Goldie tattoos again. Me and Ray were talking about that.
Yeah.
But, dude, going back to the clowns, like we're so blessed to be with them. I just gotta say that we really are, man. Like Crystal and I, honestly, last year, like we were really thinking about throwing in the towel, you know, big time and just stopping, just because it was us two doing it. Like it was, you know, her and I doing this whole thing, and
well, and he was so bogged down by like the back office stuff and the accounting and the this and the that it really like sucked the fun out of it. I mean, when it's just the 2 of us, and then you know, there's no creative, like there was no fire to do any social media, because we're like, I'm just trying to like make sure we don't get, you know, flagged for
just trying to make sure my taxes are good. I'm just trying to make sure I don't go to jail, like, you know, like those things. And it's, you know, but anyway, like, yeah, us two doing it, we were just so burnt out. We just had a really vulnerable discussion with the clowns, because we were in the middle of the Goldie Grace project. You know, we went in this project with them, and it was great, but we were like, guys, we don't think we're going to do this anymore. Like, we love you guys. We love the cigar, but it's taking a toll, bottom line. And they were so generous and so encouraging, and to our, you know, initial discussion with them. And they were like, hey, why don't you just come on board with us? You know, just come on board. We're going to provide the support. That's awesome. You know, and it was such a big blessing. And what they really did is they reignited a fire under us, you know? So it's just been a great thing working with them. Like, we couldn't ask for better partners. We really couldn't. So shout out to the clowns.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, for sure. I love those guys, and I've been trying to make sure I stay in regular touch with them, just because they're guys that, you know, 1, they've been very supportive of me, and 2, they're just really genuine, really great guys. Cause like literally I barely knew Ray for a minute, and he basically, after one conversation, he's like, hey man, anything you need, just let me know. He says, just whatever you need, just don't be afraid to ask. Don't hesitate to ask. Just let me know. You know, whether
it's you just want to talk. He doesn't just say that like most people. Like, he means it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's rare.
I know I can call, you know, Ray, Joe, Danny any time of the day, and they'll answer, and they'll make the time, and it's just such a good relationship. So super blessed to be with them. But yeah, I mean, we got big things in store, so we'll see.
That's fantastic.
We're just gonna go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Like,
and
now we'll see. We're gonna go. Anyway,
you're in it. You're in it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Taking it to the big
as the clowns say all the time, when they just do like the letters in every message, but it's let's fucking go. You know, that's what they say every time they send me a message. Let's fucking go. And I'll be saying like, go ahead.
Our son didn't say the fucking part, but he just started saying, because we've been to Disney a few times with Joe and his family, and you know, voting and this and the other. But Judah just started saying, let's go. And I was like, oh my gosh, where did you? And I was like, it's Uncle Joe.
You got it for Uncle Joe. You know,
thankfully.
I love it.
He literally calls him to this day, Uncle Joe. But it's so great. Like, we've done life with them. Like, we've, you know, Joe and his kids and his, you know, his wife and kids, they've been over our house, you know, like we've done things. It's cool doing life with them, you know. It's so great. But the cool thing is too, it's like they're about the mission, you know. They're so about the anti-human trafficking component, and they've, you know, they're like, we want you to grow the shit out of this, was basically their response, because, you know, we think it's horrible too. We think it's detestable too. It needs to be eradicated. Let's get the cigar community on board. You and Crystal, go lead, you know?
Well, and that's the thing too, like in the beginning, Justin, as we learn about anti-trafficking things, you know, you learn that, and it's a touchy subject for a lot of guys, but you learn that pornography fuels trafficking. And so, as we're sharing more about the mission, that's something you can't leave out, because if you're trying to prevent trafficking, and there's a lot of science behind it, it's not just an opinion, there's science behind it. And, people always ask, like, how do you arrive from, watching pornography to then, wanting to be with children? And it's like, your brain literally, chemistry changes, things happen, and every one of them will tell you they started with pornography. So anyways, Justin was like, are we going to turn like people off, or people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to smoke cigars? So I was like, I could care less. If you freaking don't think human trafficking is bad, please don't smoke our cigars. Okay. Because if you are a human being that breathes, then you should agree that raping people for profit is terrible. And if you don't, I don't give a crap if you purchase our cigars. But if you do have a pulse, then we should all agree this is the most terrible thing happening to humans right now, and has been, and
absolutely
has millions of people, not just a few, not just here and there somewhere else. I mean, millions of people. So it was one of those things like, you can be honest and say things that are true. And hopefully somebody that doesn't realize that will go, oh, damn, next time I want to turn on the pornography, maybe I'll think, well, shit, that might, and make a different decision. But it's like, you got to have those conversations. And just because it's uncomfortable, I mean, I've been at a sip and smoke and someone was like, hey, how can I help fight human trafficking? I was like, well, number one, you can quit watching porn if you watch it. And he was like, well, and I'm like, I know, it's weird, right? But it's so true. And it was just like,
it's a fun conversation to have.
But I was just like, that's one way that nobody wants to acknowledge. But, and the same thing about, like, a lot of cigar brands have really promiscuous like ads and things. And it's like, hey, let me tell you, I, totally believe the female body is beautiful, but it does attribute to, then you're looking at an image, then what next? Then what next? And what next? So it's kind of like, it sexualizes the whole thing. And I was like, our cigars, we won't stand on them being sexualized, because in the end, it all points to the over sexualization of humans, and then the need to fulfill that. So it's kind of like one of those, you pulled the string, but it's got to be pulled, or the veil's going to stay over your eyes. I mean, we're trying to just lift the veil.
No, we've had a lot of uncomfortable conversations with people over the mission. I mean, we've lost followers. We have had influencers, that dug us and then, stopped because I think we pissed them off. And like,
well, they're the ones that had the cigars between their boobs and,
whatever
seductive stuff. So I'm like, again,
not all of them,
all of them, but
look, you have the right to do whatever you want. So like, whatever, but we just stand by our principles. We stand by our beliefs, and some people are on board, some people aren't. And that's okay. It is what it is. But
it's kind of like, I won't get into like politics or anything, but being a progressive and a cigar smoker can be treading on thin ice depending on who you're around, because a lot of the people I know are conservative. So those conversations don't always go well, just because just go ahead.
No, they don't. I totally agree with you.
And that's where I think, well, I'm going to interrupt you. I think that's where too, like, whether you're left, right, center, far off into space, we can all agree that, raping people for profit is terrible.
Yeah. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on.
We don't even have to get into politics. Like it really is not
it shouldn't be political. It should just be standard in terms of,
it's not a religious issue. It's not
how we work, but it's amazing how much people will try to dance around it. Just something that, this is not trivial. This is not subjective. This is extremely,
this is,
this is important. It's one of the most important. Yeah, very black and white. And and again, what I was going to say when you were talking about it a little bit ago, it's modern day slavery. That's exactly what it is. And we need 100%. To treat it like that. And it needs to be gone. It needs to be eradicated. And it's one of those things that grieves me every time I think about it. I mean, I think about how many people, especially young people, are affected by it. Whether they're, being taken and forced into it, or they're being groomed, which is just something that horrifies me. I mean, I have 2 boys, but at the same time, that is still something that scares me.
Boys are very much boys are very much being trafficked. I mean, at an alarming
It's a big
rate.
misconception too. People have
Yeah.
it's only happens to women primarily.
I mean, 1 in 3 boys, they say, experiences, sexual abuse. And that's, again, how a lot of that happens, and that they're easily groomed is because of that. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're boy, girl. I mean, some of the women that we've worked with, I just picked up the organization we work with. They have women in tiny homes. Some have families, some are not. But the woman that I picked up today, I took her to work because she doesn't have a car. She's in the program, and she does not fit what you would ever imagine that someone that has been trafficked. And it's there's no discrimination. It literally is sick people that buy any people, any age, any race, anything. And it's just completely mind-blowing that there's that many people out there that are buying people, that are being sold, and that are trafficking. I mean, when you think about how many people that really is, it's like you kind of look around and we're always like, there's somebody in here who literally in this room is buying someone. I mean, the odds are just like, it is everywhere. It is everywhere.
It's horrifying, because I feel like every other post depending on which thread that I'm actually going through, especially like on Instagram and Twitter, you see yet another post about something similar, about somebody being arrested for doing exactly that.
I see that all the time.
Whether it's possessing the exploitative material or doing which is still exploitation, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah.
If you are downloading or buying that material, you are still part of the exploitation. Whether or not you're doing it to them in person, it's just,
I agree with you.
There's no getting around that.
Yeah, right. Most of the people that have that on, that type of material have the intent, or have tried, or will try at some point. I mean, it's really a matter of time. So, it is good that they are busting people, but there's just so much work to be done. And then really, you put people behind bars, but then people are like, oh yeah, get them out of trafficking, like rescue them. But it's like, and then what? So
that's the thing.
There's only about 2,000 beds nationwide for people coming out of trafficking. Now,
which is terrible, right?
Same individuals, these same individuals they don't just need a place to stay for 90 days. They need like 2-year programs to fully rehabilitate and to be able to get the counseling and the skills and the restoration they need. So there is not enough out there. There just isn't. You can't do the math and pull people out. So what happens is their trafficker may get busted or something like that, but then they are cyclical, going right back into homelessness and then being re-trafficked. And it's a vicious cycle because there's just not enough help.
The latest stats say that like 70% of women who exit trafficking wind up getting re-trafficked again, like because there's nowhere to go. There's just nowhere to go. Like they bounce around from homeless shelter to homeless shelter, from their couch surfing. There's no stability. So we're really passionate about the aftercare side, the aftercare work, because that's where the work is needed. Like everyone thinks it's very sexy to like rescue, like do like the Liam Neeson, I'm going to go get the bad guy and then rescue the girl. But it's like, okay, cool. So where the hell are they going to go? Like, where are they going to go? You know what I mean?
But on that note too, we do have friends that have gone, another organization we work with that have gone out and pulled out kids, which is incredibly dangerous.
We do know those
awesome.
People.
But I mean, realistically, there is so much law enforcement things that need to be done in order to make an arrest, in order to make that stop, that if you pull one person out, they're just going to pull 5 more in. So some of that, you can't just have rogue agencies doing. And I applaud the ones that are. I see them and I'm like, yes, okay, let's go Punisher style. But, the aftercare part.
If only.
I know. The aftercare part's like the missing link as far as like, hey, how do we keep this from not happening? I mean, the girl I picked up today, she's on her like 2nd or 3rd program from different states, because it takes, she's in it like she like came from a crazy past of like witchcraft and occult trafficking. I mean, just wild stuff. So, I mean, I'm talking, and what the other girl left a program that wasn't doing her right, that was like re-traumatizing her and kind of like, so you have to make sure that the organizations are legit, they're doing really good work, and really vet them. And then you have to
Yeah.
really just know that these are really broken individuals that are going to need a lot of long-term care. And that's hard. Most people
Yeah.
can't. You have to kind of compartmentalize the whole issue in and of itself, because if you really think about it, I mean, it's kept me up at night, but if you really think about it, it literally should make you like just unravel. And so a lot of people are like, I can't even think about it because I can't deal with it. I mean, that's what a lot of people tell me. That's so great you guys do that. I can't even like think about that. And I'm like, okay, but if that was your daughter or your son or your niece, yeah, and it is somebody's, then you got to think about it. You can't not.
Right.
It's, you're just leaving people. You're leaving
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, they become the forgotten, unfortunately, just because, people, it's a traumatizing subject, much less the actual real trauma that is actually going on that we don't see, that we only hear about here and there. And it is very challenging to wrap your mind around that even a little bit, but at the same time, we need to be willing to embrace that small bit of trauma, thinking about that subject, so that way people who are experiencing real harm and trauma, and figuring out ways to help them, whether you're donating money, which needs to happen, people need to
Right.
donate stuff, volunteering, or just spreading awareness. I think some people undervalue the awareness aspect of it, because I repost stuff like that all the time. If I can't donate money, I'm going to make sure other people see this. I'm going to make sure that people know what's going on, because there might be somebody who can donate the money right now. And,
Right.
we're all falling on hard times. So the idea of, sometimes it's hard for some people to stomach of giving money, that isn't to their bills and stuff, but it needs to happen. You got, excuse me, you got to be willing to dig up that extra bit of change, because even a little bit can go a long way, and it's better than nothing,
Yeah.
as long
Yeah.
as you're
I
doing
totally
it from a
agree.
genuine place.
Yeah. I mean, there's like all kinds of ways to get involved. I mean, if the foster care system is a huge conduit just for trafficking. I mean, it's huge.
Mhm.
So, I mean, becoming a guardian ad litem, that doesn't cost you anything. It's tough. It's hard. I did
Right.
it. I've done it. And I have had one case, and the boys are still in our lives. And it's the most wrecking thing I've ever been through, but it doesn't cost
Yeah.
anything to do it. That's huge. There's a big need for guardian ad litems. Like we talked about, quit watching porn. That's something you can do. It's free. It'll probably save you money if you subscribe to something. Yeah,
Yeah.
and and then the other thing too is just like, if you see something, say something. Like, be aware. Be
Mhm.
aware of like your kids' friends. Like, look for the signs of abuse and of things. And a lot of times, it's right under your nose, and if you're not aware or looking for that, then you miss it. And that could be, you could be a lifeline for somebody that you wouldn't even think,
Right.
because that's a lot
Right.
of times it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you have a gut for a reason, right? Trust your gut. And
Yeah.
all the
No,
grooming's
absolutely.
online. All the grooming's online. So be aware of what your kids are doing on their phones. So
yeah, it's
that's
your phone. You have the right to look at it whenever you
yeah.
want, and put all the parental controls on it, and be nosy and ask questions, because
Yep.
That's where it all starts, man. These
Yep.
days.
No, we in the last year let my oldest have his first phone.
Yeah.
Just because, he's in junior high, he's involved in a lot of different programs and things like that. He's in Boy Scouts, he's, plays the cello and the orchestra. So there's things we have to take
Oh,
him to.
cool.
And sometimes he'll
Yeah.
need to, text us. I mean, gosh, I'll be in here and he'll send a text. He's like, Ben's crying. Can you come inside? So,
yeah,
you know,
after that.
yeah. So, but he does not, nor does he want it. He's never really been all that concerned or had that much desire to be on social media. So he has no social media.
Good.
We
Yeah.
don't even let
That's
him watch
yeah.
YouTube unless it's something that we approve.
Right.
He he does play Roblox, or at least he used to, but you know, I told him, I said, you need to watch out for stuff on there because Roblox has its own
they're
history.
notorious for that stuff.
And
Well,
I
yeah,
just
the
said, if you're
predators, like, they make up big profiles and they target kids. It's like, you are not talking to a 13-year-old boy. Just know that you probably are not. And if you
yeah.
are, be surprised, but they're probably not. It's probably
Well, we disabled the chat feature.
Yeah.
So it's like he can't even talk to anybody. You know, he can play.
Good.
I just said, stay out of the different, you know, mods that are weird, and if they look shady, don't play it. You know, don't play these stupid made up games.
Yeah.
And you know, my youngest, no phone. He doesn't need one. There's no reason
Yeah.
for an 8-year-old to have a freaking cell phone.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
you know, it's one of those things where, like, he asked me a while ago, he was like, you know, how old do you think I need to be for social media? I said, I don't know yet. I said, at the youngest, maybe 16, but I'm still on the fence about that, because what do
Yeah.
you need it for? What do you, that's the thing you have to ask yourself. What do you need it for?
Correct. That's
And
the right answer.
if
That's
you,
the right
Yeah,
question.
I think parents
if
that,
you,
like, are afraid to, like, you know, be parents and to protect their kids, and that's where people are getting in a lot of trouble, is like they don't want to say no, or they want to be the friend, and it's like, your job is to protect them, and they don't know how to protect themselves against what
yeah,
they don't know. And I mean, that's, you know, you look at most of the cases, and they'll target kids that have absent parents, that aren't involved, that aren't, you know, so it's like, gosh, you cannot be too overprotective. You just can't. And if they get mad at
no,
you, I don't really care. Like, I'm not your
yeah.
friend, I'm your protector. So
Yeah, no, my oldest definitely he gets that completely. My youngest, you know, I have a feeling that, you know, he's definitely one of those kids that pushes back a lot, and which is why, one, he doesn't have a phone and doesn't need one, because it's just like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Because I fucking
Sounds like our
said
kid.
no.
well, yeah.
Because I
And he has
fucking
an
said no.
older sibling, so he's gonna try to push that card. Yeah.
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 Thankfully, he doesn't push too hard with the phone stuff. It's just other things that he likes to. He has to argue his point, which is, you know, I find both endearing and maddening, because he he assumes I don't know what he's telling me, and I always like, dude, I'm not as dumb as I look. I know what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
I said, don't assume that I don't know what you're talking about unless I ask and I'm trying to get some clarification. But I know what you're saying, and also, like, I am a millennial, but at the same time, I know for the longest time people were saying, "Oh, millennials are going to ruin everything." My dad did not cut me any slack when it came to certain things. Now, he didn't just fly off the handle and punish me anytime,
Right.
but when it came to the real corporal stuff, he reserved that. Like, if I really fucked around and found out, I was going to find out.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, he used to hang his belt in my room as a reminder. Don't fuck
Oh,
around.
the belt. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I only got it a handful of times, maybe,
Dang.
like,
Same.
you
It
know,
didn't take very
at
many
most,
times
like,
for me to shape up, you know? It was like,
yeah.
I don't want
And
that
he didn't
again.
even need to do that most of the time, because he would just give me a look. He didn't have to yell. He never had to yell. It was just one of those things where he gave me a look, or his tone of voice changed, or he would just freaking grab me by the collar. And it was just like, okay, time to pay attention. Dad wants to tell me something, you know. It's just, I was, you know, I actually had posted something on my TikTok, because whenever I do go on any kind of political or similar rant, I do it there, because there's too much that I feel like I get blowback on Instagram, so I try to be careful. But I was commenting on the whole Telegram situation, the whole, you know, guys posting videos of them harming their wives and things like that, and all of it. It was just, I started crying, because I'm like, what? Because it's not like I'm unaware or ignorant that stuff like this happens. I really try to make sure that I'm up to speed and understand what's going on in our world, because, again, I got kids to protect. There are women in my life that I want to see safe. You know, I don't want to see these people get hurt in this way. And I relate a story about one of the first things my dad taught me, and this is not only taught me how to treat my mother, but it also taught me how to treat women in general, being a man, and how he wanted me to conduct myself. You know, he said the golden rule was, you do not disrespect your mother. You love, respect, and treat your mother with dignity. He says, because if you don't, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, is basically what the policy was. And it only took one time for me to find out how serious he was. It shouldn't have taken one time, but it did, where I mouthed off to my mother because I was annoyed that she was telling me I couldn't have my TV on in my room while I was supposed to be doing homework, and I was just being a sassy little preteen. And my dad gets home, and because my mom told me once I mouthed off to her, she's like, you just wait till your dad gets home. And I didn't say this, but in my head, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And so my dad gets home. He does not come and talk to me. He gets changed to relax for being home. I remember walking downstairs, walking past the door that leads into the garage, and his big ass arm pulling me into the garage. And I'm like standing in front of him, and I'm like not understanding what's happening. And at the time I was actually taking martial arts. And so he says to me, he's like, put him up. And I was like, huh? He's like, put him up. I want to see what you've learned. And I'm like, what is going on right now? And he's like, if I ever hear that you speak to your mother like that again, next time I won't give you a chance to defend yourself.
That was enough.
Yeah. That was enough. That was totally enough. And it was just like, it's things like that. And they also drilled consequences and accountability into my head when I was very young. And it's it really was, you know, and, you know, they made sure I understood there's good consequences too. Cause when people hear the word consequence, they cringe and like, oh no, not consequences.
Negative.
Yeah. And so it was stuff like that, and other, you know, bits and pearls of wisdom that my dad and my mom, not just my dad, but my mom too, would give me, that made me very sensitive to stuff like this, that made me very much not want to just look away from it or shy away from it, because it's too important. It's too much of an issue, whether it's respecting and treating. I mean, everyone, of course, you want to make sure that you respect and are kind to everyone you come into contact with, but with how women are treated, it's insane to me. These are the women, these are your mothers. They're giving birth to you, and you're just talking about them and treating them as if they're second-class citizens. That has never made sense to me. And it's just like, I don't understand how anybody.
I totally agree with you.
Well, there's a lot of
I totally agree.
There's a lot of homes that don't have dads to instill that, you know? I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other thing too, they're finding, and I mean, I hate to go back to pornography, but it is teaching generations of how boys think that sex should be, and it is creating like a very violent sex culture, and it's a very disturbing thing too. But I mean, that has a big role to play.
Well, the biggest problem with pornography, it's like, it's always like when kids like log on to it for the first time, like what will a kid type in, like a search engine? Like they'll type in like boobs or, you know, naked girl, but then they click on the link and they're directed to the most hardcore violent content, you know, they could ever imagine seeing. And that becomes like the new sex education, you know, and there has been like proven consequences for that, you know? So
absolutely,
there are issues for sure.
No, absolutely. Which is why I hate the phrase "boys will be boys." I hate that. It's one of my least favorite phrases, and turns of phrase, just because when I think of boys will be boys, I think of playing in the dirt, getting bruised and banged up.
Yep.
That's what I think of. Cause like, and yes, of course, most boys are going to, you know, develop hardcore crushes and feelings towards girls, probably a little bit younger than intended. Cause, you know, I was in elementary school and I was crushing hard on girls that were in my class.
Sure.
And there was one in particular I had a fixation on, whose name I won't mention, but you know, she was my, you know, my first real crush. But at the same time, it's just like, I knew what was appropriate and what wasn't, you know, I knew what was proper and what wasn't. And it was just, again, like you said, Crystal, that it's because I had someone teaching me, and not everybody has that luxury. And even, you know, I can't say that I've never watched pornography because like most, most men in general, they've
Sure.
viewed it,
And a lot of
whether
women too. Yeah.
whether it's regular or here and there and stuff like that. And I
Sure.
don't judge people who watch it, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're right. There is a lot of just misinformation from all of that. And because it's so accessible now, that's the education that young men and women are getting. And
Right.
that's what they think sex is supposed to be. And
It's the new
it's
sex
just
ed. Yeah.
the
I mean, and
furthest thing from it.
and just for anybody that's watching that may not know, I mean, what you don't know about pornography as well, and I'll just put this out there, is you actually don't know if you're watching someone being trafficked, because there is you probably know the statistic of women that are being trafficked that are actually being filmed, and it's being put out
Well,
for content at an alarming rate.
Well,
So,
if you follow, who's I can't remember her name, Lila, who started the Trafficking Hub campaign. Anyway, she's great to follow on Instagram, but she blew the lid off of Pornhub. And she found that Pornhub was riddled with real live footage of, people being raped, of, underage, pornographic content, real sex trafficking situations being filmed, and Pornhub was profiting from all of that content because all you needed to upload a video was just an email address, and you can upload whatever you want onto Pornhub, and then bam, it will produce it. So traffickers got wind of that, and they started filming a lot of the abuse that was taking place. And Pornhub was profiting from it. Traffickers are profiting from it, depending on how many views it got. And but she's been doing a lot of good work and blowing the lid off that, because the executives should be held accountable. They have like content moderators or whatever. Like, I remember reading, this is like years ago when I first read into this, but they said that they had content moderators to determine like if a video, like a new video that was uploaded on the platform, was, non-consensual or illegal potentially in any way. And if you think about the thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions of videos, right, that are uploaded like every week onto that platform, they only had like 10 to 12 content moderators, bro. It's like, how are you gonna go through all of that content and determine if it's illegal or not? Like, it's impossible.
Right.
But they did that on purpose because they want, more content equals more money. So anyway, it's screwed up. So they should be held accountable. But anyway, that's the porn industry operates like that in general for a long time, just because everything's online now. So it's
I mean, the first major big pornography
crazy.
movie, Linda Lovelace, that was she was being trafficked.
Yeah.
And she had a gun.
Yeah, I read her book. It's actually a really good biography if you read her book.
And Quentin Tarantino's trying to bring it back to mainstream theater, and it's like, she's like, bro,
oh god,
I like what, like, you know what I mean? So the culture, I think the culture has to change, but it's got to start with in the homes, really, in your home. So it's like, your children, how you're communicating with them, how you're raising them, how you're monitoring, and all of that. But like, man,
well, all of that goes to say, like, with the boys will be boys thing. Yeah, they watch that content, and then now you have the same boys will be boys, and now it's okay to grab like a girl's whatever girl's ass, a stranger you don't know, and that's okay. Boys will be boys. It's like, no, that's not okay. Like, you're being trained, you're being brainwashed.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
Anyway,
it's never
desensitizing.
Yeah, which is why my wife and I were so adamant when it came to what kind of access, because both of my boys have Chromebooks that are given to them by their school to do their homework. Now, obviously, there's some heavy duty controls and stuff like that on there. They can access the internet, but only for certain things and whatnot. And like we've come down on them before for not because they access something inappropriate, but like, is that for school? No, then you don't need to be doing that. That sort of thing. So they understand what the line is and where it's drawn. And like my youngest learned the hard way that nothing's private, because he in a chat with friends on his Chromebook. And again, my son's 8, and he apparently didn't realize that this stuff is monitored, and he typed in the chat, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, then, which, prompts a similar response from his mom and I, like, what the fuck? And so he got in some big trouble with that. And so it was just one of those things like, dude, I said, it'd been one thing if you muttered it under your breath or said it to a friend and there were no adults present. Nobody hears it. Kind of the whole, like, if a tree falls in the woods situation, does it make a sound? Not if nobody hears it. So, he had to learn the hard way. So again, even small things like that build a foundation where you help them to understand, like, there are consequences for stepping over this line, even if it's just something silly like visiting a site that you're not supposed to because it's a school sponsored laptop and you're not they're not downloading inappropriate stuff, but you're not allowed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. This is a line in the sand that they've drawn. And instead of getting in trouble, how about you just not do that? Or you just ask me, like, hey, Dad, can I go to this site? And I can check it out. And I can say yes or no, whether or not it's okay with me. It's stuff that even when it comes to like online games, because, my oldest played Fortnite, which now it's so funny. He fought so hard to be able to play Fortnite. Now he hates it. He thinks it sucks and he doesn't want to play it anymore. So right. Yeah, it's just, kids, they're wishy-washy. They change their minds constantly. But it's, even with that, we're telling them, like, do not play with anyone that's not your friend. Do not play with random strangers. Do not try to jump into mods or different servers that you don't know anybody in. You need to know at least one person, and we need to know who that person is. Things like that. Listen, you can't be too careful.
The average age that kids start watching porn is 8. So think about your son. Like, I think about my son, he'll be 8 in June. I'm like, are you literally like kidding me right now with this? Like 8 years old.
It gets lower every year. I feel like it gets lower or every few years.
Wild.
It's insane. Yeah. But speaking of insane, I'm going to probably have to go put these kids to bed because they're still up watching Wildcrats. And so.
Well, at least it's Friday and they don't have to, get up and go somewhere tomorrow. But that's actually perfect because I did tell my wife it's 7:00 here. I told my wife we'd probably be wrapping up around this time anyway. So
I feel like we could talk to you for another 3 hours.
I know we could.
This has been fun.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, this has been a fun conversation.
We will.
We gotta
absolutely.
Do it again.
No, absolutely. Anytime. Just let me know when you guys are available. I'd love to have you back on. I appreciate you guys jumping on and joining me. This was an absolute pleasure and a blast. And you guys 100% have my support. I really love what you're doing. It's something that honestly, with trying to find the right words without sounding overly sappy, it really moves me. It touches my heart because it's just something that I really want to see and every effort that anyone makes, it makes more of a difference than people realize. And so I really appreciate you guys for doing what you're doing.
Wow. No, that's awesome. Thank you for your encouraging words, man. That really means a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We need it, man. Like too many, I don't know. I feel like still people think that this is like a gimmicky thing for us or something, or this is how we get notoriety in the cigar space. And it's like, dude, it's really not. Like we actually really do care about this issue. I
would have picked something more fun if I just wanted notoriety. Dang. Like I would pick literally the worst thing ever to like, it's like, okay. But with that being said, oh God, there's a bug on me.
Oh no. Oh gosh.
Is it off? It literally isn't off.
It's off. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just know that's not getting edited out.
Oh, God. And that is why I will be okay with a home studio in the garage, I think. Okay.
There's roaches in the garage too.
Oh my gosh, I don't do roaches. Okay. Anyways, what was I gonna say? We're gonna be posting more content, telling more about how we're fighting trafficking and what that looks like and organizations that are doing great work. So with that being said, anytime that we can share that and have other people share it, it's just going to help move the cause along and hopefully motivate people to want to get involved.
Yes, you'll see updates from us here soon on some of the cool work we're doing. The cigar community needs to know about. So that's going to happen. Did he leave?
Maybe. Maybe when I screamed.
Did he leave? I don't know if he left.
I don't know. We might still be on.
It says recording.
Did we click him off?
I don't know what happened. Okay, well, if this is still recording,
we look like a bunch of goofies.
And it's going to go up, including this section. Thank you for supporting us. We love you. Chaffiot Collection.
Yes.
Fight human trafficking through smoking premium handmade cigars.
And thank you for having us.
Thanks, Kyle, wherever you are. See ya.
A few moments later.
Well, this part I think got recorded, or the fun part got recorded. We got booted off Riverside for some reason. So I desperately need to get like a signal amplifier for my Wi-Fi, and I also need a new router because it's old as hell. So
it might have been my scream that made it all go haywire. Who knows?
I have no idea, but it literally blocked me like on the website, and it says, you've been basically, I got kicked off the server. So it must have been on my end and decided to boot you guys too. So I was worried the bug ate you guys or something.
No, I just hear the ever-loving shit out of me. Golly. Oh my god.
Well, I appreciate you guys sticking around. I know putting kids to bed is no small feat, especially when they're younger. So I appreciate you guys jumping back on real quick to kind of tie things up. But this was so much fun. I'm glad that both of you were here, that we get to have this conversation. So thank you so much for jumping on.
And I know we didn't get a chance to talk as much about the cigars, so we'd love to come back and talk more cigars. But I do think that for whatever reason, we're supposed to talk about
the missional side, and that's all good.
Absolutely, I think that's obviously incredibly important, and I'm happy to be a part of bringing some awareness to it. So that was definitely a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining me on my podcast. Now I end the podcast the same way every time, and I ask people a question, and the answer is in the podcast title, and the question is, who rules?
Kyle rules.
No,
the Revelers rule. I'm just joking.
I don't rule anything, especially in this house.
The Revelers rule.
We gotta say it together.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The Revelers rule.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you jumping on. It was so much fun. And we'll definitely have to have you back again.
It was fun, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
No problem. You guys take care.
You
All right, man. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.